Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game. Big Ten champions.
Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown, Oregon.
He gets loose. Fires. Hit! Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day, and I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck athletics.
Here we go on a Wednesday. Oregon football continuing a work week by week. I don't know what to call it. It's a work by week. A by work week. We're going to talk to Dusty Hera, Oregon football sideline reporter, coming up. Also, a season in review with first-year Oregon soccer head coach Tracy Joiner. I guess now we can say second year? She's going into her second year? I don't know. She's a veteran coach now. Tracy Joiner, we're going to review the season with her. Men's golf, shout out to both golf teams today. After shooting an 864 on day one, freshman Sebastian DeSocia concluded the tournament with a stellar third round, an individual medalist honor for Oregon men's golf. The second time that a freshman has done so this year. Marks the second individual medalist by an Oregon freshman after Oscar Lent secured a title, I should say, in September. Congratulations to Sebastian. That's outstanding at the Cal Poly Invitational. Meanwhile, for Oregon women's golf, this morning they had to move things up with some anticipated weather in the East Lake Cup Championship, and they won the thing! Avenged the loss to Northwestern in the NCAA semifinals last year with a victory over the Wildcats in the East Lake Cup final today. It's an elite field. The top four teams from last year's NCAA tournament make the field the following year. Ducks won it. East Lake Cup champs. Congratulations, Derek Radley and the Oregon women's golf team. Men's golf, women's golf, they're in action in the fall. And Oregon football is prepping now for a trip to Iowa during a bye week. A lot of work on themselves this week. We'll talk to Dusty. We'll talk to Coach Joyner. Also men's basketball media day yesterday. A lot to cover. Let's kick it off with Dan Lanning. He's brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with cancer care close to home. Dan Lanning.
All right. Yeah, good practice today. Worked on a lot of specific stuff, really more about us. Attacked some red area, worked on some openers, short yardage. But overall, really good day, good competitive practice.
You said on Saturday that Dante was doing good. I'm just curious, a few days after the fact, how he's progressed.
Yeah, he had good practice today. Ryan was out there rolling. Did a great job.
Right here, James. What, with Braden back, what does the added depth at backer with both him and Dylan now back in the lineup offer you? And does it become easier to travel that many more backers when there's going to be less backs at the moment?
Yeah, worth evaluating. But it's really good to see him back out there running around. He's moving well.
Having watched the game again, I'm curious, the first quarter offense, what kind of stood out? What were some of the issues you saw there?
Yeah, just, not taking easy money at times. That's part of the reason we did openers today. We want to be able to start off better on our opening drives. So it's a good opportunity to attack, but just small things here and there, and it takes 11 guys, to be able to execute at a high level.
Sounds like Evan is getting closer to returning. I'm curious what that ramp up looks like and what you need to see from him in practice.
Yeah, we'll keep evaluating it. When he's ready, we'd love to have him out there, but there's still some progress that has to happen there.
Wanted to get an update on Trey McNutt and if there's a possibility of him returning to the field this season or if it'll be a medical hardship year.
Yeah, there's certainly a possibility.
Just curious, after the first bye week, coming back after that game, if there's anything that you kind of learned from the first bye that you want to take and make sure that you improve at heading into your second bye.
Yeah, try to separate them. Certainly some things that we try to take from the bulk of the season, but we did some really good self-scout across the ball, where the defense will break down the offense will break down the defense, and find some things that we can build off of.
You have a break like this before a big stretch of games. How much of your staff spends time maybe looking ahead to teams like Minnesota, USC, Washington, if they have the opportunity?
Yeah, we take a glance and then try to reset before we, work into Iowa.
Both from last week and then from the Wisconsin game and other Big Ten cold weather games last year. Just what did you learn about what's important in those games heading into the back end of the season?
Yeah, you're going to play good teams every single week in this league. It's a real challenge. Obviously, Iowa's a really good team, does a really good job.
just mentioned self-scout being a big part of the bye week. What did you see the biggest maybe improvement from that first self-scout to your second self-scout?
What we get better at as a group? I just think more the experience we continue to get, the composure starts to show up, guys being able to do their job at a high level. Some small mistakes that we make early in the season we weren't making as much, but there's new mistakes that we got to go correct.
How big is the bye week for the guys in terms of just getting physically ready for this last stretch of the season?
Yeah, always huge, and we try to make sure that we maximize it and take advantage of it. You know, it's a long season; you got to prepare yourself for it. But our guys use it really well.
Mention openers, but what are other areas, if any, on offense that you feel like need to be worked on, improved, and not just a quarterback, just in general, overarchingly?
Yeah, just in general, the margin in football is smaller and smaller, so I have to continue to work on those areas that matter in those margins, right? So third down, red area, short yardage, like we mentioned today, those are all areas we want to attack.
What do you make of the trend of just so many midseason coaching firings in college football these days?
It's a little hard to wrap your head around. You know, I'm not sure exactly what the hurry's for, but it's part of what we all are aware of and what we signed up for in this profession. It's a tough profession, but it's a really rewarding profession. There's a lot of people who love to do what we get to do, and it's nice to be in a place that has, you know, really consistent stability and you know, players that are really focused. But I think that's just, you know, an example of distractions that exist right now in college football that you know, our players and our coaches handle really well.
Kind of a silly question, but given that James is from Australia, how quickly did you know he was going to be capable of throwing the ball there on the fake punt? Was that something you knew day one when he got here?
No, certainly not. Something you have to practice and figure out. It was a nice toss, though, wasn't it? I thought you were saying James is from Australia for a second.
I don't have that
No.
Just, you know, having a chance to look back, just what did you see from last week and then also from Rutgers about Brock's performance, and then just what have you liked from him so far?
Yeah, he's done a good job. I mean, that's a really tough environment and game to operate in. You know, even we had a bobbled snap. You know, that's one that you'd love to have back. And there was a ball in jeopardy play that you'd love to have back. But outside of that, you know, Brock's performed really well.
To actually follow up on your punter, do you know how many hidden yards it's added up to, Dan? Because by my count, of the 12 punts inside the 20, opponents have only scored once, and that was the garbage time against Northwestern. So how much of, when the motto is change the game, how much has he changed the game for you guys?
Yeah, it's been huge. I think last game Wisconsin had 4 punts inside the 20. We had 3, right? So there's, you know, we always keep track of average starting field position, and if that's a weapon for us. But you know, James has certainly been a weapon for us this year in the punt game.
I know you're a big Halloween guy. I'm wondering if you've ever had a favorite costume or another person has worn a costume that you really liked.
I love it when my wife dresses up as like Jasmine off of Aladdin. She always wants me to be what's his name? I guess he's Aladdin, right? But I'm not. I don't have a six pack for that. My grandma made me this really cool Ninja Turtle outfit when I was a kid. That's probably my favorite. Leonardo with the swords. You know, that's a throwback though. That was probably 3rd grade, so it's been a while. Had a couple of unique ones in college that I probably can't speak to.
Speaking of 3rd grade, I think you were about 12 years old when Kirk Ferentz started coaching. I'm curious your thoughts on him, if you've ever been able to meet him and talk to him before.
You know, I met him in Big Ten meetings, and it's like, you feel like you're in the presence of somebody really special. And he's so humble for what he's accomplished. Obviously, more Big Ten wins than anybody in the history of the Big Ten, speaks for itself. But coach that does it the right way, you know, believes in what he believes in and does it to such a high standard. I've got a lot of admiration and respect for him and the job that he's done at Iowa.
With how much your guys' video production crew, like the Ducks versus Them and the social media, has developed in your 4 years here, was that initially part of your vision coming in? Was that pitched to you? And then what has been kind of like your growing comfort level with like how much you guys show week to week in those videos and having cameras around?
Yeah, we try to push the limits. It's been something that I would say when I talk about adapting is important in college football. It's been something we've adapted, you know, over time. I knew it was a piece that we wanted in our program, and it's really grown. You get really excited about the results. You don't know exactly what it'll look like, but guys have taken advantage of it, and our production group has done an unbelievable job. And I think it always gives, you know, a different lens for fans and for recruits to be able to like peel back the layers and see what it looks like. And then there's certainly times they put some stuff on there that we're like, all right, let's take this off, you know, but overall we want to keep pushing the limits there.
Do you get the final like thumbs
Oh yeah. You can thumbs down, thumbs up some stuff.
How much have you either watched and known Phil Parker over the course of just time and career? And I know he was obviously won the Broyles when Will was a finalist as well a couple of years ago. How much have you watched him over the years, and from what he said earlier this week, while very complimentary, also referring to it was a well-funded operation?
Yeah, Phil's an unbelievable coach. I mean, consistently, these guys have played really, really well on defense for a really long time. I actually what's funny is I was watching Dante Moore at MLK. I was watching him play, and Phil was there the same night that we were there watching Dante, and obviously Dante ended up going to UCLA. But that same night, I got to visit with Phil. He's a guy I've got unbelievable respect for. The job that they do on defense, the way their guys play with their hair on fire, they know their issues. They're super consistent. Year in and year out, they play at a really, really high level. So, ton of respect for him and the job that he's done and how he's adapted with the game.
All right, one more Halloween question. Do you have a favorite Halloween candy, and what does your household give out for trick or treat?
Good question. I don't know the second answer. I don't know what Sophia gets. I'm probably like a gummy worm guy, or like a Reese's peanut butter cup. Those are hard to beat. I know Cutter Leftwich, one of our offensive line coaches, he really likes those as well. So he made an announcement on the plane ride back from Rutgers the other day to deliver all the Reese's peanut butter cups to C28 or whatever seat he was in. So it speaks to how much he loves them. I don't love them that much, but I enjoy them.
What's your perspective on the red zone defense, Dan? Because the most important part, you mentioned, don't let them get down there.
Yeah.
You haven't. But when they have...
They've scored. Yeah, that's an area we want to improve on. And again, the benefit is we haven't let a lot of people get down there. But when they get down there, I think we can be a lot better. And we've gotten guys in some tight moments where we've been really close to being off the field. We've held guys to field goals at times, but more importantly, we got to make sure that we can go capitalize and make people not score when they get down there.
Been a back and forth the last week or so regarding this NCAA rule change that was or wasn't regarding sports gambling and players being permitted to bet on pro sports.
What's the final?
Being pushed off to late November, pending further feedback and evaluation.
Gotcha. That tells you kind of how much I've been focused on it.
Yes. But your thoughts on, you remarked even before the season about the issue as a whole, educating players, whatever concerns there may or may not be, whether this gets through, and anything else.
Yeah, I'm not spending a lot of time on it. Can't do it, so don't do it. Our players know that.
We heard about that yesterday from Chief Compliance Officer Jody Sykes, right? That things were moving quickly and there's going to be some more feedback. And that rule about being able to bet on professional sports, they're pushing it back, still going to consider it. Again, heard about that from Jody Sykes yesterday. Dan Lanning, meeting with the media, the Oregon football head coach. When we come back, a reminder that we don't have a coaches show tonight, but instead we will head to Portland and talk with our sideline reporter, Dusty Hera. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
You wanted to be cool, which led you to smoking, which led to a pack a day. Then you met that special someone, which led to starting a life with them, which led to wanting to live longer, which led to quitting. Then you heard you may be at risk for lung cancer, which led you to getting a low-dose CT scan. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
We head up I-5 to Portland, where Dusty Hera joins us. And since we last talked, 2 things have changed. 1, he has 3 pictures on his wall now.
That's right.
2,
I got 3.
He has a great mustache today.
Thank you. Halloween coming up, and had a Halloween party over the weekend. Ted Lasso was the costume. And so we are keeping Ted Lasso through Halloween. And so you got to keep the stash. And look, it took me 38 years to grow facial hair. And that's not a lie. I could not grow a mustache until, for whatever reason, at 38 years old, I was able to grow a mustache. So I'm okay with keeping it right now.
Okay, Dusty Hera. Here I thought I was gonna get you with this.
Yeah.
So we talked not long ago about how the last time you wore tie-dye was in college.
Yeah.
So it occurred to me, was that a Halloween costume when you wore tie-dye in Ashland?
No. No. It's more of like in Ashland, it's an everyday occurrence. But I think it was summer. I think it was summer. I was wearing tie-dye.
All right, good. Dusty Hera, our sideline reporter, and of course the boss at 105.1 FM, 1080 The Fan Sports Network, 9:10 a.m. And it's important that I mention that because Oregon women's basketball is coming up on Thursday, coming to you in Portland on 9:10 a.m. Chris Clayton and Bev Smith will have the call again this season. All right, Dusty, what did you think on Saturday?
It was cold, rainy, and windy, and I think that affected a lot of the football game. It wasn't the most crisp game that we've seen from this Oregon football team, but I think over the course of years, this is what you've got to kind of reframe in that, is that not every week is going to be like it was at Rutgers, right? And what you want to do is withhold the, hey, you stub your toe, the conditions playing element, and maybe you're looking forward, which I don't think they were looking forward, but you're going to get everybody's best shot. And sometimes that best shot is somebody dragging you into deep water. And I think that when you look at it, yeah, you can sit there and say there were some warts in that game for sure. But at the end of the day, they won by 2 scores, and 21 points in that game felt like 49, right? Like a 21-0 lead. It felt like it was a 49-0 lead. And that was something that I think when you look at a defense that is able to carry that team for long stretches, I think that is an impressive part. The number 1 pass defense in the country resides in Eugene, Oregon.
Isn't that amazing?
And I think we get lost in that. And you have a true freshman and a redshirt freshman that are starting at corner. I mean, It's been pretty impressive what we've seen in the back end of the defense and from the defense in general. In the offense, yeah, you got a best shot of a team that we talked about this last week when I was sitting in that chair, not on the TV screen. This was the inverse of the Rutgers game, where you had a defense that is above average and an offense that is below average. That was what Wisconsin was rolling at Autzen Stadium with. And that defense, it gave fits to the Oregon offense, especially early in the game. And the concerns about that, I'd be far more concerned if Oregon didn't run for 203 yards on the game. But from the second, third, and fourth quarters, they ran for over 230 yards.
Right.
And they figured out what was plaguing them in the first quarter. Now, those are the things that you want to clean up, is that, are you able to get away with those types of games offensively against elite competition? No, but you weathered that storm, quite literally a storm rolling through Autzen Stadium.
Yeah, a monsoon that we will more on that in a moment. But I want to bring up the fact and revisit the fact that you said the number 1 pass defense. So here's what's amazing, Dusty. I mean, I think you, me, others, we all thought, you know what, Oregon's going to be able to rush the passer. You got Mateo Uiagalelei back. He led the conference in sacks last year. I think we all agree Tatum Tuioti is an underrated player, at least outside of the Oregon fan base. And you thought, okay, you bring in Bear Alexander. You've got some developing pieces there. I think we thought the Ducks could rush the quarterback. They have rushed the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But couple that now with a secondary that we all said, hey, some new faces, some young guys that have developed, but it is a new look secondary. I think it's safe to say that the secondary, you alluded to the cornerbacks, but also I will go even deeper on the cornerback spot. The rotation that the Ducks have continued to enjoy at that cornerback spot. There's a lot of factors to having the number one passing defense. I think we knew going in the pass rush would be key, but the secondary has certainly impressed me.
No doubt about it. I mean, whether it's at the corners or in the back end, and Dylan Thieneman was advertised to be one of the best safeties in the country, and he's played like it. I mean, he absolutely has played like one of the best safeties in the country. And you see, the Thorpe Award semifinalist now that was released yesterday, and that's an honor that he will probably, as that field gets whittled down even more and more. It wouldn't be surprised to see him as a finalist, and heck, with the way that he plays on a week in and week out basis, he may win the whole dang thing. But we also look at the pass rush, like you were saying, is such a key part in a pass defense. And one of the reasons why these guys on the outside are playing so well is because these quarterbacks, although sacks aren't being racked up in big numbers, they're forcing quick throws. They're making quarterbacks uncomfortable, and a pressure is just as good as a sack is, because they're having to either turf it, send it out of bounds, or throw it into coverage. And I think top to bottom, Oregon's pass defense has been elite, number one in the country, back-to-back weeks, under 100 yards passing. The year is 2025, Joey, and back-to-back opponents haven't thrown for 100 yards against Oregon's defense. I think those things are impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Dusty Harrah, we continue with our football sideline reporter here, talking about being on the sidelines. So Dusty's crew does a pregame show located near the North Ticket Office. So you'll find Dusty and the entire gang from the Fan Sports Network there. If you ever walking by, you hear these guys talking, well, now you know, Duck fans. That's what you're listening to, is our Portland affiliates pregame show. They get on a few hours, or a couple hours normally, right, Dusty, before the network-wide pregame show begins. Well, I was in the broadcast booth this last weekend at, like 7 hours before kickoff. And Mother Nature, it was great. I mean, it was a beautiful sight from the broadcast booth at Autzen Stadium. Truly wonderful. I mean, I could literally see the weather changing. The dark clouds were moving east. There was blue sky overhead. So I told everybody, look at this great view from Autzen Stadium. And then Dusty, not within what, Dusty, an hour?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe even less than an hour.
I think in the text thread it was like 45 minutes separated. Then Dusty documented his walk from the North Ticket box to the Autzen broadcast booth. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, right, Joey. Yeah, right. What is happening?
I felt so bad. I tell you, it was a bright, sunny sky, and then you heard the wind and the whipping. Also, Dusty almost got hanged by his credential because it whipped up so loud. I mean, it was something.
That was I felt like I was on the Weather Channel in like Boca Raton, Florida, when, a severe storm is rolling in. Like, wind was just blowing in my face. Rain was just peppering me everywhere. And that picture that you sent of the crystal clear blue skies and the Coburg Hills from the press box, it was a lie. In that moment, to me, it was a lie, Joey. But it was, look, the wind, it's the wind that gets you. Like, we're Oregonians.
Yes.
Rain, it's okay. Rain is fine. Wind, and there was a moment, and then as any Oregonian will, you turn your back to the wind so you're not getting peppered by the rain.
Right.
There was a moment in the game where I turned my back to the wind, and I was still getting hit in the face with rain, and I realized the rain and wind was coming from both directions.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It was a true swirl. Anyway, we had to have some fun with that today.
Thank you.
Because as Dusty entered the broadcast booth on Saturday, he was quite literally dripping. And we've all seen somebody give this look of just like, I don't know. And that was the look on Dusty's face. And I really feel bad because you walked up at just one of the really bad times.
It was, especially pregame. The second half, I don't think there was any escaping it. But the first half, it was just kind of windy. No rain. It
But
was just kind of windy down there.
I need everybody to know this, though. Dusty came prepared. He had the full rain suit. He also had 2 different raincoats to wear. He was ready. And the microphone survived the broadcast.
Yeah, that was something that we talked about in pregame. Jerry kind of put it on me that we haven't lost a microphone in quite some time in inclement weather. And I was a little bit worried about it. And if you saw me down there and wondered why I was carrying around a microphone in a Ziploc bag, it's because that's technology, folks. That's how technology works, is that we just put it in a plastic bag.
That's right.
It's fine.
He's right.
It's fine.
He's absolutely right. Hard-hitting stuff from one Dusty Hera. How are you spending your bye week?
Oh, everything is busy. You know, we've got youth sports. We've got a Halloween on Friday. Let's go.
Yeah, Friday,
I'm
Halloween.
a big Halloween guy. I'm a big Halloween guy. I'm a big Halloween on a Friday as well. So, you know, we've got a Belle, and then so K-pop Demon Hunters is a big thing in my house, and anybody that has young kids is in on that. And my son is a Saja boy from that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our intern Shyla directing the show is vigorously nodding her head right now. Yes.
That's right. That's right. And so that's a big one. He and all of his buddies are like I don't know, they're K-pop demon boy band.
Coordinated costumes.
That's right. That's right. And that's how they roll. And so I'm going to be out roaming the neighborhoods, trick-or-treating with the kids. So, well, I'm not actually knocking on doors, but I'll be with them. That's how I'm spending that Friday. And then Saturday we got youth sports. Let's go.
Are you carrying around the We Believe sign or the Believe sign?
No. I mean, a great costume doesn't need signage to explain who you are. So
But it's part of the costume. I mean, it's part of it. Oh man,
I'll hang it above the door to my home, so when I come in, I'll slap the Believe sign on the way in.
That's the right move. That's the right move. He's Dusty Hera. We're going to talk with him again next week, getting ready for Iowa. Last thing, Dusty, I need to ask a hard-hitting question. It's been the debate of the week. Does one who rides a scooter refer to the action as scootering or scooting?
Scootering. I'm going scootering. Final answer. Now, I heard you ask this question to Jody yesterday, and she gave a great response. I'm going scootering because scooting, to me, scooting is like I'm on my butt just shuffling across the ground.
Yes, it is a more broad definition. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. And I wanted to take this opportunity to tell everybody that Trent Kirsten did, in fact, ask his entire team. And in a landslide, scootering won.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Scooting is just more fun. That's why I was championing scooting. He's Dusty Hera. We only ask hard-hitting questions during Halloween week. Dusty, always great to see you.
All right, great to see you. We'll see you in studio next week.
That's right. Dusty Hera, he'll be roaming the sidelines at Iowa. No word yet on the forecast. We're coming back after this, talking Oregon soccer with head coach Tracy Joiner on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone or just taking a deep, calming breath to ground yourself. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
It's Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack with you. I did not scoot today. I did not utilize the scooter. I am still going to champion scooting. Max just walked in. Is it scooting or scootering? God. The entire volleyball team said scootering. There were 0 votes in the scooting in the poll. It's a broader definition, guys. Tracy Joiner, first-year head coach for the Oregon soccer team. We got the chance to sit down and review the entire season under first-year head coach Tracy Joiner. Let's jump in. Time to talk a little bit of soccer. Tracy Joiner, Oregon soccer head coach, is with us. This will be a wide-ranging conversation. We get to cover a regular season finale where the Ducks upset a top 10 team. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Well done. Good end of the season. Okay, I'm just going to put on my I went to the University of Oregon. I am a proud Duck. Attended lots of Ducks versus Dogs matchup. Not all of them go your way. This one did. And that's nice on behalf of the entire fan base. Thanks to you and your team. I'll start there. How'd that feel, Coach? Congratulations on a good win at the end of the year.
Thank you. I mean, it felt great. It was I don't know. I think throughout the past, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 games, there's been a little bit of like self-preservation numbness to, just some of the results that we've had. And so it felt very surreal in the moment. And I don't think at the time I felt like the magnitude of what it meant just because I'm thinking so long-term and everything. But it was, I was so proud of the team. I was so happy for the team. The seniors to end on that note, the UW transfers to end on that note. It was pretty special.
Okay, I now have to ask you then a zoom out question before we dial in on this. How do you as a coach compartmentalize staying in the now, but then also having that big picture focus? How do you even mentally do that?
Gosh, I think that just comes with the territory. That's why I'm here.
It's hard to do.
It's a lot to manage because you're playing a short game, but you're always thinking about the long game and what's next and how can we build and what are the takeaways from this to build on the next and what, a whole season of what not to do in some ways. And yeah, but you got to learn. And that's part of being a coach is like, you're never a final product. And if you want to be the best at something, you got to continue learning and taking things away and putting them and moving forward.
Well, take us through the matchup because you talked about how there have just been some, the theme was always like, right, so many close opportunities that don't go in. You end up with a draw or a loss. And then in this circumstance, it's 1-1. Ooh, those last few minutes, Coach. Like, walk us through the whole game if you could, and then we'll zero in on the last few minutes.
Yeah, our scout was really that, they had given up 9 goals in the season. I think 6 of them were on set pieces. And so we knew that was going to be an area that we wanted to take advantage of.
Gotta
and
get one.
We scored 2 goals on set pieces.
So,
the team executed the scout very well, and we knew that anything's possible when there's chaos in front of the box, in the 6. And, I was just all season we've talked about being really opportunistic and the ball bouncing in our favor. The soccer gods, it's going to happen.
It did.
There were so many times where it hit the crossbar and we, weren't able to capitalize or it got in traffic and something, and just it's bound to happen. Just keep believing, be opportunistic, put yourself in a goal scoring position, assume it's going to land at your feet. And yeah, twice we did a great job of following up and we're able to put one in the back of the net or 2.
Well, I was going to say, you hit on that, like, and you get those set pieces, right? But then the executing of them is a whole other deal, right? And you did.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, the first one looked a lot different than the second. But for Ella in the 87th or 88th minute, to get that opportunity, and she's kind of like listening over her shoulder to me, and I was like, just hit it, smack it, back post, like drive it and make it hard to clear, and to have their team basically flick it on into the post, and then our players all crash and again be opportunistic. I mean, that was great execution. In the week prior, I had kind of gotten on Ella in film where I was like, you've got to be better in this moment, because there was another time where she needed to execute and put us in a position to score a goal, and she took that to heart, and I think that she just really focused out in that moment, hit a great service, and Kenny was there to follow up.
Well, and you talk about Lauren, so Big Ten Player of the Week, right? That's cool. That's a cool honor at the end of the year.
Yeah, it's our first one in program history.
Yeah, pretty sweet.
Big Ten. Well, not program history, actually, Big Ten program history.
Well, so technically, program history.
Yeah, right.
We've had other players of the week from the Oregon soccer team in the conference level, but
not in the Big Ten.
Not
so
the Big Ten.
We'll take it.
So, yeah. But that's cool. That's a cool honor at the end of the year.
It's great. It's huge, especially because, and I know Lauren won't mind me saying this, but I don't think that defense was like a strength of hers when we first got here, and she knows that. But just to see the growth that's taken place as an individual for her and the commitment, because defending is a mentality. That is all that it is. In a lot of ways, obviously, you've got to have good, anticipation and be athletic and those things. But Kenny just, she's so coachable and she wants it so bad, and for her to take the feedback, because she received a ton of feedback, if I'm being honest. And so for her to execute in the past, I'd say even just starting in the Big Ten, like she's just been so consistent defensively. And so for her to get rewarded, not with just a win, but with this honor is awesome.
I was curious because, you talk about like the feedback and the growth throughout an entire season. Certainly every team looks different at the end of the year than they do at the beginning of the year. How different is your team now at the end of the year versus at the beginning of the year? Can you even encapsulate that for us?
I don't think we're recognizable, and that's part of when you're coming into a new program and building an identity is, what do we look like? Who are we, and what do we stand for? And I know that, as we got through the season and maybe we weren't as good in front of goal as we wanted to be, we did start to identify with our defensive organization, our defensive habits, our mentality as being our thing. And if you look at the Big Ten standings, the top 10 teams that made the tournament, 8 of those were our opponents, which obviously shows our strength of schedule was really difficult. Yeah. And in those 8 games, 4 were 1-0. 0-0, 2-1, 2-2, 2-1. So like we were in every single game, and defensively to only give up, however many goals, but most, 1-goal games, just again speaks volumes to our identity and the change and growth from our first game until now.
Well, and then even look at the win at the end of the year. And I know like as a coach, like it's one win, right?
Yeah.
But it does give you probably a nice taste in your mouth heading into the off season, doesn't it? That you say, okay, look, it paid off at the end.
We needed that for our soul, especially as a coach, our staff. It was funny. Like I don't think it felt like a relief by any means. I think it just gave us, more perspective of or validation of like we knew we were so close in so many games, and any of the games could have gone that same way. Right. So it was validating in some ways, but it also it was inspiring. I think it gives us a really good message to the players of like just continuing to believe, because it is really hard to lose many, many games and continue to believe and continue to train, continue to show up. And I think it just showed the team and showed that what this program's capable of. When you believe, you trust each other, your staff, anything's possible. And to knock off a top 10 team and an undefeated Big Ten champion, I mean, that was one of the most satisfying wins for sure in our program.
Tracy Joiner joining us, talking Oregon soccer. And, that idea, too, of it's validating also just reminds you of the joy of the game a little bit. Like, for coaches, for student athletes, for everybody, I'd bet.
Yeah,
right?
I was like, oh, this is why I do this.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, this is why I feel tortured for 3 months. Yeah,
there's some humanity in this.
No doubt, no doubt. And I felt so much joy, like, I think during, but also each time we scored, just that fear of like, are they taking it away? Because they VAR'd both goals, and I was like, please don't. And I knew that they were both goals, but just
But you never totally
the
know.
trauma response, you know.
I get it.
So, yeah, I was just so happy for, again, like the team to end on a tough season on a high note. I mean, most programs, most teams end their season in a loss.
Right.
You know, that's how it goes. And, you know, we got to end ours on a big time win and just something to build on.
How does it send you into the off season now? Like what's the schedule immediately ahead and then the longer term vision for the off season?
Yeah, we'll just, you know, we'll get back into some training in the next couple of weeks. You know, and really kind of set the tone for what we want to accomplish in the winter. Got team meetings, individual meetings, things like that. Lots of recruiting in the next couple months. But yeah, I think, again, like, I wouldn't say we have like this amazing foundation to build on. I think we're still building that foundation, and there's a lot of growth that needs to take place where our staff is going to feel like we're in a good spot. But there's a very bright future, and, you know, and to see how many of our young players were really impactful this year, there is a lot to grow from, and to build on from that perspective of like individual players. But in terms of like the consistency piece, the mentality, the competitive piece, we do have a lot to learn and a lot to grow from. But I feel like, again, yeah, if the future is bright.
In setting that foundation, then, to the masses, what are you looking for? You know, like someone who's watching this, like, you know, I think I could play soccer at the University of Oregon. I want to play soccer at the University of Oregon. What are you looking for to build that foundation?
This is a camp question that I get a lot, right?
Really?
From players that just are like, what are you looking for in a soccer player? And that's a super fair question. And I think if you just look, you know, across the level of talent in this country, it's like everybody's got a great technical foundation. Everyone's got a great tactical awareness. They're good athletes. You know, they've got a good drive. And for me, the difference of winning and not winning is finding competitors. And there's a very big difference between working hard and competing hard. And for me, that's what I look for. I would rather have a player that will die on the field to win a game rather than someone that likes to play nice, pretty soccer. And that's honestly the difference. And we have to still learn how to win games. And this game on Sunday, I think, showed us that it's possible, but really it's just a mentality, and we need competitors. Yeah.
I think you just gave the entire world a fabulous bumper sticker or shirt of some kind, like compete hard greater than work hard, right? I mean,
like working hard is the minimum. Like, duh, you're playing at a Power 4 program. Like, right. That is the minimum standard. The minimum requirement is working as hard as you possibly can. But competing and doing the extra and trying to find advantages anywhere you can, that's paramount. I mean, that is how you win championships. Everybody works hard. So what else are you doing to compete at a level that is going to win you a championship? And that's what this program needs, is to find players that are self-motivated. I'm here to facilitate. Our staff, I think, does what we can to motivate, to inspire, to create an environment that allows you to compete, that, you know, in fact, like enforces it. But it's up to that player and that person to find it within themselves to be motivated to get to the next level.
I'm ready to run through a wall now. I'm ready. Good speech, Coach. I am ready to run through a wall now. Talking with Tracy Joiner. We're going to get a timeout. Come back, part 2 with the Oregon soccer head coach after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
If you build a relationship, then it becomes easier. If you build trust, it becomes easier. As a parent, you want what's best for your child. To give them the love that a child needs. It's probably the best you can do for a teenager.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
You say you never give in to a meltdown and never fill your feed with kid photos. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it and never let them run wild through the grocery store. So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, know it can happen. 1 in 4 hot car deaths happen when a kid gets into an unlocked car and can't get out. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
It's Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you in the Country Financial Studio. Let's continue our chat reviewing the season with Tracy Joiner, head coach, Oregon Soccer. You touched on your staff, though, too. I mean, because there's you, but then there's the staff, too, that has to be so consistent in messaging and lockstep. And I'm always blown away at just the level of coordination that it takes to lead in that way. And I know you feel pretty strongly that your staff's pretty darn good here.
They're elite. Yeah, they're elite. Yeah, I think, you know, and that's part of it is I think as a head coach, you've got to try to align yourself with other personalities that you know are going to be better than you in certain ways. And, you know, you make up for each other's efficiencies or deficiencies, or you amplify each other's strengths. And I think that that's something that speaks to our staff is, I mean this with as much humility as possible, but there's not a lot of deficiencies across the board with us. But what I do think we do well is we amplify each other's strengths and we build each other up to do what they are good at and what we are good at. You know, Chris, obviously I've known for longer than Kat, and he's someone that I've seen have like significant growth through his coaching career as well. And our first season together was 10 years ago, a decade, you know, and to see where he's at now. And I'm sure he feels similar, but like both of our trajectories and our growth as not just coaches, but as people, has been super rewarding. There's just so much trust and loyalty, and like he's so dialed in, and it's been fun to see him level up too this year, like, you know, and be excited to be coaching at this level. And, you know, it's always been in his bag. He's certainly been capable, but just to see how much he's invested in wanting to be great has been really inspiring for me and really motivating, where, you know, when I got here, I was like, yeah, like this is what I was going to always do. Like, this is where I want to be. And he made me feel, you know, like this is really cool though. Like, you know, and it made me want to be better, and not take this like this wasn't an easy thing to get to, you know, and he made me really like dive in and be like, he is so excited. Like, I need to be more excited about this in like a different way, you know, and it's great. Yeah. Chris is fantastic. And Kat also just, you know, not having ever coached with her before, but just seeing her on the sideline of other programs and meeting her at camps, I'm like, that is an energy that is palpable. Like, you want this person to be around you all the time. And Kat wears her heart on her sleeve, and she, like, what you get is what you see. And I love that. I love her authenticity. I love how genuine she is. She's so passionate, and just a great balance. Like, she is really tough. She's got a great voice, and like I don't necessarily always have to be like the one. Like, she's got a really good intensity about her and really good balance, where her I mean, obviously her humor, that is definitely what she's known for, but her ability to balance her humor but her intensity and passion for the game and for coaching and developing players is, I mean, it's like I said, it's magnetic, it's palpable. It's like between the three of us, you know, and between Chris and Kat, just there's so much charisma, and like the X factor that like if you're not gonna do it, we're gonna will you to do it. And I think we've got a really good foundation in our staff to help this program move forward.
Yeah, because you compete hard.
We do.
Tracy Joiner, talking with Oregon Soccer head coach. The unfair question now is the future ahead with the roster, too. I mean, you're always like I said, you're either in the now, you're always looking ahead, like the roster management and construction. What's the roster outlook here moving forward into next year?
Yeah, I mean, we graduate 8 seniors. We will be signing 11 players in a couple of weeks. So we've got 11 freshmen coming in. The majority of them are attacking players. Obviously, I don't think this is a surprise to anybody, but we struggled in front of goal, so we felt like there was a pretty significant need to get more goal scorers and attacking-minded players on the roster. So we're really excited about that. And transfers kind of depends on the portal and what opens. And but I think we're excited about the class coming in. The 27s that we've got committed are also very, very talented, and a big win this weekend I'm sure helped in that front. But yeah, like I said, the future is bright, and there's so many amazing things about the Oregon Athletic Department and just being a Duck. And that's my takeaway really from my experience here so far is people just love Oregon. Like, it is, like, I thought I liked being a Bear. It's like not even close to how much people love being a Duck, and I think that that's really, really, really special. And what's missing in a lot of college programs is like just the tradition and like the passion behind athletics and your team. It's so freaking awesome to be a Duck.
Boy, that's wow. I'm ready to run through a wall again. Coach, you can come on the show whenever you want. You just say the word and the door swings open. Once upon a time, he shall remain nameless. He's still the head coach of the Oregon women's basketball team. His office used to be down the hall. I don't know if I've told you this. He used to just swing the door open, and if it didn't matter if we were on the air or who was sitting in that chair, and he would just walk in and sit down and start talking.
That's awesome.
When his office was down the hall. That's one thing. The basketball and volleyball offices that are down near the arena have been great. Student athletes are more around the coaches. But selfishly for me, I just miss those coaches being over here as often as they were. So if you ever would like to just take the mantle from Coach Graves and just swing the door open and come in, you be my guest.
Don't you threaten me with a good time.
It's going to be – yeah, that's what the off season might look like. But I know there is no off season, right? It's just a different kind of season.
Different kind of season. In our off season, it's going to be so important. I think this first year, just trying to figure out how this all works here. Who does what and how does this go, and the bureaucracy behind a lot of things. Now that we've got a better idea, we can starting like implement some important things moving forward, just when it comes to just the consistency and the routine that's required to really be a championship level program. We'll start implementing and being a little bit more I don't want to say stricter by any means, but just provide more context for why we do things the way that we do. And there's just a lot to learn still and grow from. So we're going to move forward in that direction.
Well, and the team's gotten to know you and your staff too, right? Like it's like, so my wife was a teacher, and she would often say, like, you spend the first month just figuring out where stuff is in the classroom and who everybody is and how to talk to each other. Well, once you've had that foundation, right, you don't have to spend as much time doing that anymore.
No, and we're really lucky here. We have so many resources, and coming, from my previous programs, I've always kind of done all the things and worn all the hats. And so I'm like, wait, I delegate this, like someone else does this, which was hard to relinquish, but
sure, I get it.
At times, but now that I understand like who's responsible for doing what, like the emotional output that it takes to kind of have a million open browsers in my mind at one time, and to close a lot of those because someone else is capable of doing that job well, is refreshing. So moving into the off season, that's certainly something that I can refocus. Most of my energy is really just on the coaching piece and the recruiting piece. Yeah.
As somebody who everyone will tell you is bad at delegating, I empathize, I sympathize. Good luck.
I'm doing my best.
What do we miss heading into the offseason? Anything else you want fans to know?
No, just like thankful for all the support so far, without, having any expectation of what it feels like to be here. I think we were really, really happy with the community support, and also just, if there's anything that we can ever do for you, we're always looking for volunteer opportunities and anything in the community that we can do. I think that that's a really important piece of being a student athlete, is engaging and investing in the community that supports you. So we'd love to give back, and would love for you to reach out if there's anything we can ever do.
So great. Tracy Joiner, head coach, Oregon Soccer, reviewing her first season. Thanks, Coach. When we come back, wrapping it up. No coaches show tonight. Feels weird on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working at our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
Back to the Country Financial Studios in 60 seconds. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Let's take a moment to breathe. Deep inhale. Extend your spine. Remain focused on what you're doing. If safe to do so, exhale slowly, leaning to one side. Inhale back to center. If safe to do so, exhale slowly to the opposite side. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. This message is brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
It is the final segment of Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. We're here in the Country Financial Studio. A quick final segment because we had such a great conversation with Dusty and with Oregon soccer head coach Tracy Joiner. Reminder, no Oregon football coaches show tonight. We wrap things up saying congrats again to Oregon men's golf and Oregon women's golf. We'll see you tomorrow. Women's basketball and men's basketball focus. See you then.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found.